Most people believe thriving seniors are the ones running marathons, traveling the world, or filling their calendars with endless activities. But what if I told you the strongest, happiest seniors aren't the ones chasing youth? They're quietly thriving in beautiful, overlooked ways that most people miss. Behaviors so small, so ordinary, that they don't show up in photo albums or on social media, but they prove a life is still rich, powerful, and deeply alive, no matter what others assume. And here's the beautiful part. Once you know what to look for, you'll realize you, or someone you love, might already be thriving more than anyone realizes. It isn't about appearances. It isn't about how busy you are. It's about how deeply you're living, even in the quiet moments. Welcome to Better Aging Advice for Elderly, the place where we share the untold, inspiring ways seniors are building stronger, happier, and more meaningful lives every single day. This is where aging doesn't mean fading, and where your best years aren't behind you, they're unfolding right now. If you believe growing older should mean growing better, wiser, bolder, and more connected, instead of becoming invisible, then tap that like button, hit subscribe, and join us here. You'll find wisdom, encouragement, and real, honest advice you won't hear anywhere else. Because the truth is, thriving isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, and it matters more than people realize. A woman named Ruth once confided in me, "At my age, people stop asking how you really are. They either pity you or expect you to act like you're still 30. She was tired of the assumptions that came with her age, the ones that said she was slowing down or somehow fading away. But Ruth was thriving in quiet, powerful ways no one noticed, because she didn't need to prove it. She lived it. You see, thriving isn't always about big, bold gestures or achieving the impossible. Sometimes it's about the small things, the things we do every day without fanfare, that reflect our inner strength and vitality. It's about embracing the life we have, with all its wisdom and grace, and making it as rich and meaningful as possible. Ruth knew this. She wasn't chasing after some grand idea of what thriving looked like. She was living her own version, one that didn't need applause, but still made her feel alive. Today, I'll share 5 small, powerful behaviors that reveal when a senior is truly thriving, and why these moments matter more than any flashy accomplishment you might see on social media or in a magazine. These aren't behaviors that get celebrated on the evening news, but they're the ones that make a senior feel truly alive, connected, and present in the world. Behavior 1: quiet goal setting. Ruth had a simple habit that no one else ever noticed. She set tiny, personal goals every day. It wasn't about grand accomplishments or impressing anyone. It was about giving herself something meaningful to focus on, no matter how small. Whether it was finishing a new recipe she had never tried before, writing down 5 things she was grateful for, or walking to the park bench and back, these small goals quietly added purpose to her day. No one saw it. No one clapped or cheered her on. But those small, private promises to herself made a world of difference. They gave her a sense of direction and accomplishment, even if the world wasn't watching. Ruth understood something that many people forget. Thriving isn't measured by big, public victories. It's not about getting trophies, hitting milestones, or gaining social media likes. It's felt in the small victories, the ones that don't have to be shared with anyone else, but still make you feel alive. Think about it. When was the last time you set a small, simple goal for yourself, something just for you? Maybe it was reading 1 chapter of a book, reaching out to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, or even organizing a small corner of your home. These aren't the kinds of things that make the news or earn you accolades, but they matter. They shape your days, your mindset, and your sense of well-being. Ruth's little goals weren't about achieving perfection, they were about showing up for herself. They were reminders that she still had power over her life, no matter her age. The more she made these small promises and kept them, the more confident she became in her ability to thrive, and the more purposeful her days felt. So, the next time you're feeling like you're not doing enough or aren't thriving in the way society tells us to, take a moment to remember Ruth's quiet approach. It's the little things that make the biggest impact. You don't have to aim for big, impossible feats. You don't have to measure your worth by external validation. Sometimes, it's enough to set a small goal that brings you joy and a sense of accomplishment. And most importantly, it's okay if no one else notices. What matters is how it makes you feel. What's one small goal you've set for yourself this week? It could be something as simple as enjoying a quiet cup of tea, taking a walk, or finally finishing a puzzle. I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments below, and let's support each other in celebrating the small wins that truly matter. Behavior 2. Staying inwardly curious. Harold, a neighbor of mine, was nearly 90 years old when he discovered a new passion: astronomy. It was something he had never paid much attention to before. But once he started, he couldn't get enough. He read books, watched documentaries, and asked questions about the stars and planets, with the same wonder and excitement as a child, seeing the night sky for the very first time. To him, the universe was no longer just a faraway concept. It was a never-ending source of awe and learning, one that he embraced fully. Now, you might be thinking, isn't it a little late to pick up a new hobby at that age? But Harold didn't see age as a reason to stop learning. For him, curiosity was a way of staying alive, truly alive. And that's what thriving seniors understand. Thriving isn't just about physical health or busy schedules. It's about nurturing your curiosity, keeping your mind sharp, and never settling into the belief that you've learned it all. Age doesn't limit curiosity. In fact, it often opens up new avenues for it. Harold didn't need to chase after youth or try to keep up with younger generations. His curiosity gave him something far more valuable: a sense of joy in learning. Regardless of his age, he didn't care if he was the oldest person in the astronomy club. He was fascinated by the universe, and that passion was enough. When we stop being curious, we stop growing. We stop seeing the world as an endless source of possibility. Thriving seniors understand this. Whether it's learning about the stars, picking up a new language, or diving into history, curiosity is a fountain of energy and vitality. It pushes you beyond the familiar, challenges you to think in new ways, and helps you connect more deeply with the world around you. And here's the thing: curiosity doesn't have to mean a huge commitment. It can be as simple as asking a question, exploring a topic, or diving into something you've always wondered about, but never took the time to explore. It could be learning how to cook a new recipe, trying a new workout, or even reading an article on something you know little about. What's something new you've learned recently? It doesn't matter how big or small it is. Whether it's a fact about the world, a new skill, or just an interesting tidbit, I'd love to hear it. Drop it in the comments below, and let's keep the curiosity flowing. Staying curious isn't just for the young, it's the secret to thriving at any age. Behavior 3. Moving for joy, not numbers. Ruth had a simple joy. Whenever her favorite old song came on, she would dance around her living room, no matter who was watching or how she felt. It wasn't about keeping up with any dance trends or getting the perfect rhythm. It was about the freedom of movement, the joy that music sparked in her soul. Harold, on the other hand, had his own routine every morning. He'd stretch in his chair, slowly and deliberately, his body finding its own rhythm as he reached for the sky. It wasn't about hitting a particular stretch goal or pushing his limits. It was about feeling the stretch in his muscles and the freedom in his body. For both of them, movement wasn't about perfection. It wasn't about counting steps, calories, or following the latest fitness trend. It was about feeling alive in their own skin. Ruth wasn't trying to dance like she was 20 again, and Harold wasn't measuring how far he could stretch. They understood that thriving isn't about pushing your body to extremes. It's about embracing movement in ways that bring you joy and comfort. Because that's where true vitality lies. Thriving isn't about the metrics that stress us out. It's not about the competition, the race to be the fastest, the strongest, or the youngest. It's about those small, quiet moments when you move your body because it feels good, because you love the way it makes you feel, not because you're trying to hit a number or impress anyone. For some, it's dancing in the kitchen to a favorite song. For others, it's a morning stretch, a walk to the mailbox, or just standing up and shaking out the tension of the day. What's missing in these moments? No competition, no chasing after youth, just strength built quietly, moment by moment. The kind of thriving you won't see in a headline or in a fitness magazine, but the kind you'll feel in your own body if you're paying attention. It's the kind of thriving that doesn't need validation from others. It's the kind that you feel deep inside, when you move your body in ways that make you feel at home with yourself. Movement doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be a workout or a race. The simplest things, a dance, a stretch, a walk, a deep breath, are enough to keep your body strong and alive. It's about consistency, not intensity. It's about joy, not comparison. How does your body love to move? Maybe it's a little shimmy to your favorite song, a slow morning stretch, or a few laps around the garden. Even the smallest movement counts. Let's celebrate those simple, joyful ways we keep our bodies moving. Share in the comments below how you love to move. And let's keep inspiring each other to thrive, one step at a time. Behavior 4. Meaningful, consistent connections. Every Sunday, without fail, Ruth would call her granddaughter. It was a simple routine, yet it meant everything to both of them. They didn't need to talk for hours. Sometimes it was just a quick catch-up, the kind of conversation that doesn't change the world, but reminds you that you're not alone in it. For Harold, it wasn't a phone call. Every morning, he made sure to wave at his neighbor when she passed by. They didn't have long chats, but that small gesture, that connection, was something they both looked forward to. These weren't obligations to them. They were lifelines, steady and warm, grounding them in the rhythm of their days. For many seniors, we think thriving is about being constantly surrounded by people, being the life of the party, or always having a packed calendar. But thriving isn't about knowing everyone or being constantly on the go. It's about nourishing the few relationships that truly matter to you. It's the people who make you feel safe, understood, and loved, whether it's a family member, a longtime friend, or a neighbor. These are the connections that sustain you and keep your spirit alive. Ruth didn't need dozens of social events or a full inbox to feel connected. She had her granddaughter, and that call each week kept her heart full. Harold didn't need a busy social schedule to feel seen. His small, consistent wave to his neighbor gave him a sense of purpose and belonging. It wasn't about the number of people in your life. It was about the quality of the relationships you invest in. Meaningful connections don't have to be grand gestures or endless conversations. Sometimes it's a simple check-in, a quick text or a phone call to ask how someone is doing, or a short chat with a neighbor while you water the plants. These moments, though brief, carry a weight that stays with you long after the conversation ends. They are proof that you're still seen, still valued, and still part of something bigger than yourself. In a world that often feels fast-paced and disconnected, it's easy to forget the power of small, consistent connections. But these little moments of contact are the glue that holds our communities and our hearts together. They remind us that, no matter how old we get, we're never truly alone if we make the effort to connect. So, think about it for a second. Who's one person you could reach out to this week, just to check in? Maybe it's a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, a neighbor who could use a kind word, or a family member who might appreciate hearing from you. It doesn't take much, but it means the world to them and to you. If you'd like, mention them below and let's create a ripple of meaningful connections. Who knows? That one small gesture could make their day. Behavior 5. Owning their story. Ruth had a box, a simple, worn-out box filled with old letters, photos, and mementos. It wasn't just a box of memories. It was a box of her life, her journey. Inside, you'd find photos of family gatherings, postcards from old friends, and even a few letters that made her smile and others that brought a tear to her eye. She never hid the heartbreaks or mistakes. She kept them all there, unedited, a part of her story. One day, while we were chatting, Ruth looked at me and said, "It's my story, and it's beautiful because it's mine." The way she spoke about her life, the way she embraced every part of it, the good and the bad, was so inspiring. Ruth didn't chase perfection. She didn't try to erase the past or hide the tough moments. She understood something that many of us forget. As we get older, thriving isn't about erasing your flaws or pretending you've never stumbled. It's about carrying your story with pride, accepting every scar, every failure, every victory, and the wisdom that comes from it all. The truth is, we're all walking stories. Every laugh, every tear, every challenge faced, and every triumph earned. It's all part of what makes us who we are. But too often, we're taught to focus only on the good parts, the highlights, and we hide away the things we might be ashamed of. But thriving seniors know better. They don't run from the tough chapters of their lives. They carry them, with all the scars and imperfections, because those are the moments that shape them into who they are today. Ruth's box of letters wasn't just a collection of old things. It was a tangible reminder of her strength, resilience, and the beautiful, messy, imperfect journey she had lived. And it made her feel alive, not because she had avoided mistakes, but because she had learned from them and turned them into part of her beautiful, unique story. And that's what thriving is about. It's not about perfecting every detail or pretending that life has been easy. It's about owning your story, every chapter of it, and finding the beauty in all the highs and lows. It's about being proud of who you've become and knowing that the person you are now is the sum of everything you've gone through. So, what's a part of your story you've come to love? Maybe it's a difficult decision you made that taught you a powerful lesson, a moment of growth that came after a setback, or a part of your past that you've learned to embrace. It deserves to be heard. Share it in the comments below. You never know how your story might inspire someone else. You are beautiful because of all the chapters that make you you. Let's celebrate that. Ruth and Harold lived like this, quietly, yet profoundly. They didn't seek out the world's applause, but in their simple routines, they were thriving in ways that many might overlook. It wasn't about grand gestures or outward success. It was about finding joy in the small moments, maintaining deep, meaningful connections, and carrying their stories with pride. Their lives may have seemed simple to an outsider, but to them, each day was a testament to living fully, not in the way the world expects, but in the way that felt right to them. And the truth is, Ruth and Harold aren't alone. There are countless others thriving in ways that look quiet on the surface but feel extraordinary to the heart. Maybe you know someone like them, or maybe you see yourself in their story. If this video reminded you of someone who's thriving in their own quiet, powerful way, share it with them. It might just matter more than you realize. And it might be the reminder they need to keep living their truth. Subscribe for more better aging advice. Because thriving isn't about youth or outward accomplishments. It's about wisdom, joy, and knowing what truly matters. And those are the things that last, no matter how old we are. Let's keep exploring how we can all thrive every single day.